Hi, this is Brandon with Precision Defensive Solutions. We're out here at Northern Ohio Tactical Training Center in Amherst, Ohio. And today we're going to do a little test on ballistics. We're going to put some 147 grain Federal HST into some FBI calibrated ballistic gel so that when we start talking about defensive use of a firearm, we can actually look at evidence-based data for what we carry in our gun every day. Now we're going to do this in a few different guns. One of the ones that we're going to do is in my comped VP9. So then we're going to do a standard VP9, and we're going to do a VP9 SK. One of the other rounds that we're going to do, and we're also going to do a test on a Federal 22 punch out of a S&W 22 Victory to see how that performs also. Stay tuned. So we are back in the office, off the range, and got the block of gel that we use primarily on the range for the testing. Understand that ballistic gel does not react exactly like human tissue. We have to account for heavy clothing, zippers, different things like that, and that's why the FBI standards are the way they are, and that's why they're looking at that, 12 to 15 inches of penetration in ballistic gel calibrated to their standards, and this gel from Clear Ballistics is calibrated to the FBI standards. So with that said, we primarily used the Federal HST 147 grain 9mm, which is my everyday carry load. It's what my wife carries. It's pretty much what all of our staff carries for a reason. And that's why we wanted to really test it, because if we're carrying it, if we're recommending it in classes, we wanted to have evidence-based knowledge of why we recommend that round, not just from what we had seen from Federal and other videos online, but actual physical ability to show our students why. So with the Federal HST, we got a consistent penetration of 14 to 14.5 inches. Now we used different lengths barrels because we used the full-size VP9, we used the VP9 SK, which has a little bit shorter barrel, it's a little bit under 4 inches. And then I used my carry gun, my VP9 with a threaded barrel, which is a 4.7 inch barrel with a Parker Mountain Machine compensator on it. And that's the one that we used first. If we're getting 14 to 14.5 inches of penetration consistently with those, regardless of the barrel length, I'm pretty happy with that. Now, one of the things that we did dig one out. We did get a very good sample of what it should be. Measurement on it was actually a little bit over a half an inch, so it was like 0.6945, something to that effect. I'll put a picture in so that you can see it. It did not fragment. It retained its weight. It maintained its shape, and it performed the way that it's supposed to perform. Now, we did also test a Spear Gold Dot 9mm 124 grain plus P round, which, to be honest with you, really kind of surprised me on the recoil feel of that, because with it being a plus P round, I expected it to be a little hotter, and it felt very much like the 147 grain that I carry every day, and it performed very similarly. The one thing about the Spear is, because it didn't stay in the gel, it actually exited out the side of the gel. We couldn't get an accurate measurement on how deep it went. So based on where it exited, I'm going to say that it was right in that 14 to 14 and a half inches of penetration. But it did keep on going because it exited the gel. It didn't get very far, because we noticed in the cardboard behind it that it actually tumbled and kind of rolled through the cardboard. So it was open by that point, but not having it, we can't really say exactly what it did. So we did fire 5 in this, including a Federal 22 punch round, which that was probably one of the 2 big surprising ones of the day. So with it being a 22, I either expected it to not get all the way into the gel, or not very far, or to completely go through the gel. And it did stop at that same 14 to 14 and a half inches. That's impressive for a 22. And that's something that we need to keep in mind about 22s for carry on today's standards, because we can't base it on what 22s were years ago. They have really upped their game with 22s also. So if you're a person who's very recoil sensitive, wants something for personal protection, I can feel pretty good about telling you that the Federal 22 punch is going to be a good round for you. People want to talk about stopping power with handguns. I don't even want to get into that, because the reality of it is they're not generating that much force that it's just instantly going to drop somebody, guaranteed every time. There are cases that it will, but shot placement is key. Caliber is not so much. We did test a Federal HydroShock 45 ACP 230 grain bullet in another block of gel that went straight through. And that's very concerning to me. And that was definitely a big surprise too. I figured with the 45s being slower that it would not have penetrated the whole block, and it did. In particular, that it was out of a shorter barrel compact Glock that, you know, the longer the barrel, the more twist rate, the more energy you're getting out of it. With a shorter barrel, I did not expect it to do that, and it did. So keep that in mind, you guys that are 45 guys. You might want to spend some money and pick one of these blocks of gels and test your carry ammo in it. So I really hope that this little experiment has helped you guys out. It definitely has helped us. It's going to help our students for a long time to come to see exactly what this stuff does. Periodically, we will probably do this again with different carry loads, especially if we decide to change our carry load if they put out something that may be performing better. But I am going to tell you, vet what you carry and make sure you know exactly what it does. So with that said, take care everybody, be safe, and we'll talk to you soon.